Returning back to Southport in the UK for Churches and Trees, Episode 2. We are here at the Holy Trinity Church for Chapter 4, where we will continue. And there, what is that at the top there? What is that? Is that a goggle? It's like an eagle or a griffin? And so, as you can remember from last episode, we looked at this symbol. Can anybody remember what it actually is? And there is the Star of David. Would you look at that? Indeed, from the two-dimensional perspective, this is the Star of David, but does it have a sacred geometry connection? So right up there, where there's an eagle or a griffin, there is what's called the Merkaba symbol. That's two triangles together, two tetrahedrons together. Referring back to the ancient secrets of the Flower of Life by Drumbelow Melchizedek, I hope to present the basic origin of the Merkaba pattern and how it evolves from the Flower of Life. Now, if you remember from the last video, I briefed over how the overlapping circles were conceived in sacred relation to form the seed of life, and the egg of life formation was also discussed. However, I want to come back to this complex pattern that is formed from the same overlapping circles within circles, where the circles develop beyond that inner circle where my finger is almost touching. Now, it has been known that the inner circle was presented as a restriction so that the rest of the circles beyond that boundary is not revealed. Because if we focus just on the six-pointed shape, a very significant pattern is formed known as the fruit of life. Now, this pattern of 13 circles is one of the holiest, most sacred forms in existence, according to Drumbelow, because he says it forms or expresses the fabric of reality. Now, if you superimpose straight lines over the centers of each circle, we will obtain what is known as Metatron's cube. Why is this pattern so significant? Well, looked at from a third-dimensional perspective, one can obtain what is known as the Platonic solids or the Platonic shapes, seen here. These are the fundamental building blocks of this reality. However, there does seem to be a lot of controversy over these straight lines, a much deeper subject for a later time. But for now, I just wanted to establish the tetrahedron shape seen at the core of this image, because it seems Leonardo da Vinci's Vitruvian Man was expressing this too. Notice the circle design around the edge of the picture. And if we consider all of this from a third-dimensional perspective, we look at the sun tetrahedron pointing up. This symbolizes the male, and the one pointing down represents the female. Combined, this suggests a sort of balance in the material sense, but really it's also the shape of what's known as a Merkaba light body, a field of light unique to every living being and can be used as a vehicle to another dimension. And so could this cross inside a Merkaba underneath the griffin suggest something much deeper about the resurrection, just like many of the architectural references to ancient teachings with much deeper meanings now unfamiliar to modern day awareness. Oof, the sun is very bright today. And so just recapping, remember we came from St. Marie's Church, then on to St. George's Church, and now we're at the Trinity Church. But from here, I want to actually move on to the next in the alignment from St. George's Church, Leyland Road Church. Also inspired by the early English Gothic architecture in the 12th and 13th century, this church took 2 years to build and complete in 1880. Leyland Road Methodist Church. But Leyland Road, Leyland, you know, Leyland, I love it. The word ley is the term given to earth energy alignments by Alfred Watkins in 1925, so Leyland just has me wonder. And once again, the spiral is very tall, reaching up into the heavens, or is it an energy antenna? And when looking at these structures, I always wonder, could it be that the entire design has come from the straight lines of Metatron's cube in the Flower of Life? The stonework, the architecture, it's very old, it's ancient. This door again is very similar to the one on Lord Street. It's got a similar design to St. George's Church on Lord Street with its Gothic architecture, and in this aerial view, Leyland Road Church can be seen in the distance, just past the Holy Trinity Church, with all three seeming to align in one direction. What do you think? Comments below are always welcomed. Very beautiful. Pay attention to the archways, because the archways have got this kind of similar designed arc. The pointed doorway arch goes back almost 5,000 years and references a portal or gateway into high dimensions. And then look at the patterns above those windows. Could this be artistic expressions of the Flower of Life, within shapes representing portals to higher dimensions? Can you see the circles? The circles in the windows, the Flower of Life? What do you think? Leave comments below. Right at the top there, above the window arches, is another set of circles inside of a circle.
Was sacred geometry a key influence for all of these churches?
And then you can see it again, just over there.
It could have just been a trending fashion at the time.
But above those 3 windows, there are circles within circles.
Or could there be symbols of metaphysics hidden within the architecture of the buildings?
This is, for me, a reference to sacred geometry and the flower of life.
All interpretations here are certainly up for criticism and welcomed in the comments. And with a lot of food for thought, what better way to contemplate than a ride on Boudica and get lost on a country road? Because for me, it helps to ride in nature, unpack all the information and process it within the confines of my helmet. And remembering back to part 2 of this episode, it was St. Luke's in Formby with its cymatic style rose window pattern that seemed to resonate with the wheel window at St. Marie's in Southport, with its designed window patterns clearly highlighting the inner circles of the egg of life. Or could it be an expression of the fruit of life? Or maybe even symbolizing Metatron's cube, because it certainly looks like the design blueprint originated from this pattern. And when admiring these architectural wonders hiding in our towns and cities, the entire structure and all its details seem to hold references and shapes formed out of Metatron's cube, or the fruit of life, with this pattern showing up in all the churches like St. Luke's Church and then again at St. Marie's Church, placed at the top of the window. And here you can see it more in a third-dimensional expression, showing mostly as a decorative window sigil within arches. Could it be from the fruit of life? And if so, what is the meaning of these patterns sculpted into a church building? With more investigation comes more intrigue.
I find it fascinating, the architecture and the way it all flows, the movement of this architecture, the bends, the curvedness of it. It flows into like a significant pattern that when studying sound and the different vibration hertz per second of sound, the sound frequencies form different patterns that are very similar to what you see here.
After spending time abroad looking for answers to my own journey, I never expected to start another in uncovering the mystery of these lands so close to home.
This sacred geometry is within the architecture of a lot of these buildings, and they hold, I believe, a kind of reference to a specific meaning that I feel is got a relation to the idea of creation, its geometrical form. It's the vibration of creation. It's a specific 2-dimensional pattern of the vibration of creation, but it's a part of the whole. I'm looking at these symbols and I'm wondering, the person who put them there, did they mean to leave it there as a highlight for others to pick up on, or is it there to enhance energy, electromagnetic energy, or is it just a pattern that was just a design fashioned at the time, you know?
And what about the alignment of these churches? Well, it seems that 3 other churches sit in a proximate direction from the Southport locations. And as you can see, I've already got them mapped out. And in episode 3, this is where the journey will continue and follow the mystery of what's uncovered so far in the episodes of Churches and Trees. And if you enjoy these adventures and want to help, you can by liking, subscribing, commenting, and sharing with friends. Join me on the next 2-wheel adventure into the heart of Brigantia in Ancient Albion, exploring the mystery and beauty of a fascinating past so forgotten in time. Could ancient folklore actually serve as genuine accounts of history? And this location be the actual center of Albion? In the next episode, we will find interesting input from others to help with this investigation.
So then I researched it and came across a lot of information to do with the lost lake of Sir Lancelot, which was Martin Mere, which was right near Tarleton.
Now this area here, this was all the lake, as far as you can see.
Join the adventure and follow the journey as we explore the mystery of our past so close to home and hiding in plain sight. Could this location be the lake in the King Arthur story? And how convenient to be just on my doorstep and along the same route to get to the next churches, where divine intervention seems to play a vital role in unveiling an alternative past awakened by many researching for themselves. Sometimes stumbling upon designs in the middle of nowhere that just astound the senses and fuel the imagination for what once could have been an unknown civilization that once utilized the earth energies. Jump on board with Boudica and venture along the country roads of Ancient Albion.